Hi, everybody. Thank you for attending. Thank you for stopping by, checking out my channel, my brand new channel. We hope to provide you with tons of usable content that you can apply immediately. That's the goal of this channel. And as I grow, as I develop in this space, I hope to take you on that journey. And we've got a lot of avenues where you can take part and share in that. So if you're a first time visitor or you're back for a second time, thank you. And go ahead, you know the routine, look below, go ahead and give us a subscribe. Give a little check on that notification bell so that you can be made aware early on when we first start posting things. So as the title slide indicates, we're going to delve into how to get started with Ruby. I've had exposure to a number of very awesome programming languages, web techniques and things, and I always find myself coming back to and appreciating Ruby. Love, love, love Ruby. And so what we're going to do today is kind of delve into a few things, a few topics. And again, this will not be a comprehensive, all-inclusive type of thing. What you're going to get is this quick start guide. We may break this thing on out into a couple of parts, a few parts, but certainly we're going to get you started with Ruby. So a lot of times people will ask the question, what is Ruby? So you should be able to see down here under resources where you can find the Ruby programming information, the language information. So that's ruby-lang.org. You can easily head over there, but I do have that already pulled up. Let me slide that on over. And so when we ask the question, what is Ruby? Let me go here really quickly. What is Ruby? Ruby is a dynamic open source programming language with a focus on simplicity and productivity. It, based on this commentary, it has an elegant syntax that is natural to read and easy to write. And if you know anything about programming, you know that's what you want. You want something that's easy to read and easy to write. And so that's what Ruby is providing. You can see a little snippet of the code here from their website. And then again, once you've got yourself situated, why not come back to this, check out these tabs, utilize their resources, because the more you utilize it, the more that people will believe and understand the importance and the excitement behind Ruby. But I digress, and we're going to head over here to the downloads page. You should definitely know what you're installing and why and where. And so for the purposes of the videos that I'm going to be creating, they are geared towards Windows users. And because sometimes us Windows users in the programming lane and the programming world are forgotten about sometimes when it comes to some of these trainings and tutorials. And so my goal with this channel is to, we're Team Windows over here, and want you to be able to get up and running with the things that you want to do quickly and avoid some of the mistakes that I've had to, and many others have had to deal with in this kind of a programming environment. So once you've determined what your operating system is, are you running Linux? Are you running a Mac OS? Or if you're running Windows, we're going to head over to the Ruby installer. Now, there are some notes here for like the latest releases and information, but we can pretty much avoid that for this purpose of this video. And we're going to head right over to the download. Now, some of you may be wondering which of these downloads to select, and that's key. So what I really appreciate about the thinkers behind this downloads page is they've assumed people may have the question of which version to download. So I would recommend giving this paragraph a read, and then also giving the paragraph on updates a read. That's going to be key as well, because you may have already installed Ruby, but it was some time ago. And maybe you're watching this video as somewhat of a refresher so that you can kind of remind yourself, what did I do and what needs to be done? Because I know this thing needs to be dusted off. And so for the purposes of this demo, because this machine that I'm on right now had a 2.2 version of Ruby installed. And you can see that the preferred version is this 2.6 X. And so they want you to go with the 2.6X, and in this case, X meaning 0.5 dash 1. I'm running a 64-bit machine. You might be running a 32-bit, and if so, you're going to want to grab this x86. And so all of that information is detailed here. Definitely don't take my word for it. Learn that in development and in web programming or software development, you've got to know why you're doing things. And if you don't know why, that is why everyone always says Google's your friend. I also like to say Bing's your friend too. So we're gonna, if you're downloading for the first time, you're gonna go ahead and grab this particular link, and then it's going to begin the download process. If you've got permissions set up, you wanna go ahead and say yes to those permissions. As you can see down here in my tray, my downloads tray, I have already downloaded that and have it ready to go. And so once that downloads, then you're gonna be prompted with basically this particular screen. What I like about the Ruby naming convention is it tells you the version you're installing and the bit level that you're installing to. And so that'll be helpful as you try to, in the future, recall what version that you're on. And there's other ways to find out, but this is just one. So make sure to keep a note of the system's path that you're storing this particular part of the installation in. You are going to want to have these boxes checked. And I also go ahead and check UTF-8. You don't have to, it's not necessary, but you definitely want to make sure these two are checked to add Ruby to your path. That way you can execute not just at the folder level or at the root level, you can also do it at the base level, your C drive. Also, you want to make sure that the system understands that anything with a .rb in a .rbw file is considered a Ruby file and therefore will treat it as such. So we need this much disk space available, and we can go ahead and install. Now it's telling me that the folder already exists, obviously, because I've already had it installed. So it would like to know if I want to install in that folder anyway. Overwriting a Ruby version with the same major amount of version usually works, but for example, Ruby 2.5 over 2.4 doesn't work. And so I check that prior to heading over to do this demo. And just for the sake of it, we'll show you that I don't have anything in that Ruby folder. So it's nothing to do, no concerns that I have about overwriting, because I have nothing in there of any importance, and there's nothing in there at all. So let's do it. So these items are automatically checked, and you can see that it's requiring that much of disk space, and we'll just go ahead and hit next, and it's going to start to download and install. You can see here things are starting to populate in the folder to which it is installing, so that's always good. And we'll let that continue, and then we'll pop back in here to kind of go over just a few, excuse my cup, kind of go over a few tools in terms of choosing an editor and the bash environment, which is something that you're going to want to take part in. So while that's downloading, a shameless little plug, certainly any support you give would be monumental and helpful as I continue to provide more exciting. Alrighty, so that is all set, and we can close out this video. Remember, our next installment, we'll be talking about choosing an editor and then the bash environment, and we'll wrap it up with a little discussion on test-driven development. So I know that I mentioned previously about support on Patreon. That would be awesome, so we can continue to provide super duper content. We love your feedback. Go ahead and let me know some of the things that perhaps you've been wondering as it relates to the Windows development environment, and let's see what we can create. Again, don't forget to subscribe, and thank you so much for attending, for your attention, and have a great rest of your day.